and also 3 senior government officials. We're going to take a short break and we come right back here on First Up.
We're back here on First Up the First Stop in your busy day. A quick time check. 7:37 is our time here on the show, and just to give you an overview of what's been taking place for the last hour and more, we've actually put the spotlight on the big news story of the day, which is the assassination plot that was uncovered, a plot against the Prime Minister and a couple of her high-ranking cabinet officials. Weighing in on that, we got a comment from the security advisor to the Prime Minister, Gary Griffith, who says that the country's security forces have the situation under control. For those of you who would have seen action taking place in Arima in central Trinidad, as well as in the Silos area this morning, all of that is part of the work that they're doing to mop up this particular situation. We also got a comment from Opposition Senator Penelope Beckles, who is, of course, disturbed by this particular development. And she expects that very soon the opposition may well meet with the government officials to discuss the way forward with the state of emergency, especially in light of this most recent development. We also linked up with former Prime Minister and former head of the National Security Council, Basdio Pandey, who says that the government officials now need to be very, very sure that this is not some sort of a hoax that's being perpetrated against them, and must use every investigative tool available to them, and also must put systems in place to ensure that they can catch on to these things as soon as possible, even before. Also expressing concern that maybe it was too early to bring this sort of information to light. Maybe it's something that could have been handled quietly. And through it all, in with us, we've had a former Staff Sergeant in the U.S. Marine Corps, Rodney Guilarte, in with us on the show as well to share his perspectives. Rodney, your final comments with us this morning.
Let's put this in perspective. I've heard a number of people say, especially a few individuals, say that the U.S. is in a de facto state of emergency. Not true. Not even close to being true. Anybody who would say that is someone who's inciting an emotional knee-jerk response and looking for some kind of emotional sympathy. Not true. What we have in the States now is a change of mechanism, a change of philosophy and methodologies in terms of national security measures in response to an escalating threat or a changing threat.
So the response line had to be changed.
Had to be changed. U.S. has not been in a state of emergency, is not in a state of emergency. Anybody who would publicly say that in any forum is wrong. And I know that for a fact. I mean, you have to really contend with somebody like, where are you coming from with this? What they've done is adapt and change to the changing geopolitical environment.
Not only in the U.S., all over the world.
All over the world has changed. The Brits have changed since the bus bombings and the bombings in the tube.
Spain.
But is Britain in a state of emergency? No. Britain has the highest number of cameras, surveillance cameras, anywhere in the world. It's not a state of emergency. And anybody who says so, really, you have to call into question their experience and their background. Outside of that, the government, the best thing they can do from this incident and this scenario is to reassess the mechanisms, reassess the methodologies and the standard operating procedures of the Ministry of National Security. Not saying what they have is inadequate. No, the Ministry of National Security is well funded, they're well formed, and they're well trained. But they have to adapt. They can't just have a call out the army kind of response to everything. You have to have a playbook. You have to have this playbook. If they don't adjust, adapt, or create their playbook, then they've missed an opportunity of learning. Because what you do from this situation is do an after-action report, take the data from all services and all persons involved, you collate that data, and you create a scenario plan, you create a plan for future situations.
A quick comment here coming in our text messaging platform. A problem we seem to have is that people in security services often let out inside information, both to the media as well as to politicians. And we need to start dealing with these people harshly and severely. And they wanted a comment from you on that, Rodney, in terms of leaking of critical information.
We have, I'll put it this way. The tone set for discretion and the maintaining of information. See, in the States, if anybody did that, they'd get locked up in jail for violation of the National Security Act. Here, it's a part of the culture. You are whoever that is, whether intentions are good or not, they're jeopardizing. That is a threat on national security. The assassination plot on the Prime Minister is a threat, but leaking information, that's more of a threat on national security than an actual assassination plot. Because if you look at it, remember, national security is a threat on the national society and the stability of the country. You have to rein this in, because look at all that's gone on in the last 15 years. It's nothing but bleeding. They're bleeding information to the public that is not controlled. I'm not saying they're trying to keep it and hide it. It has to be let out in a format that's conducive to national security.
Rodney, thanks for being with us this morning. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
We've been talking to Rodney Guilarte, former staff sergeant in the U.S. Marine Corps. We'll take a short break and come back with local government minister Chandra Sharma on the line. Stay with us. This is First Up on CTV.